My name is Marley, and I spent 3 years married to a man who never really knew me at all. You're pathetic, Marley, my mother-in-law Patricia sneered, standing in my living room. Look at this dump. My Derek deserves so much better than you. Patricia, please, I said quietly. This is between Derek and me. Between you and Derek? She laughed. There is no you and Derek anymore. He's finally come to his senses. Derek walked down the stairs with his suitcase. I've packed everything I need. Derek, can we just talk about this? I asked. Talk? He finally met my eyes, cold and distant. What's there to talk about, Marley? You work at a coffee shop. You drive a 10-year-old Toyota. I'm a senior partner at Henderson & Associates. Do you know how embarrassing it is when my colleagues ask what my wife does? I thought you loved me, I whispered. Patricia barked out a laugh. Love doesn't pay the bills. Derek's met someone new, someone with connections, someone with money. Her name is Vanessa, Derek added. Her father owns 3 car dealerships. She understands the lifestyle I'm meant to have. So you're just leaving? I asked. After 3 years? I already filed for divorce, he said. My lawyer will be in touch. Don't expect much. You barely contributed anything anyway. Patricia followed him to the door. You should have known this would happen. Girls like you don't belong in our world. The door slammed. I stood there for 30 seconds. Then I pulled out my phone. James, I said when he answered. It's Marley. I need you to come get me. And James, bring the rolls. The Phantom or the Cullinan, Miss Marley? He asked. The Phantom, I replied. It's time they learn the truth. 40 minutes later, a gleaming black Rolls-Royce Phantom pulled up outside. James, my family's driver for 20 years, stepped out in his crisp suit. Miss Marley, he said warmly, your father said to tell you it's about time. He knew? I asked. The whole family knew you were testing Derek, James replied. We hoped you were wrong about him. I looked back at the small house. I'd rented it specifically to seem ordinary. I'd taken the coffee shop job to seem normal. I'd hidden my trust fund, my family's real estate empire, my degrees, all to see if Derek would love me for who I was, not what I had. He'd failed spectacularly. Take me to Sarah's place, I told James. I need to talk to my best friend. Sarah opened her door and her jaw dropped. Marley? Is that a Rolls-Royce in my driveway? We need to talk, I said. Can I come in? She pulled me inside. Okay. Who are you and what have you done with my broke friend Marley? I sat down and told her everything. About my family, about the test, about Derek's betrayal. Let me get this straight, Sarah said slowly. Your family owns the Harrison Real Estate Group? Guilty, I admitted. The Harrison Real Estate Group that owns half the commercial properties downtown? Among other things, I said. And you've been serving coffee to test if Derek was a gold digger? Yes. Sarah stared at me. Girl, he failed that test so hard. He's divorcing me to marry someone with money, I said bitterly. What are you going to do? Sarah asked. I'm going to fight back, I replied. Legally, strategically. I'm going to let him discover exactly who he was married to. What did he do besides being a jerk? Sarah asked. I pulled out my phone and showed her screenshots. Over the past year, Derek's been transferring money from our joint account. Small amounts, but it adds up to $45,000. He's been stealing from you? He thought he was taking our money, I said, but that joint account was funded entirely by me, from my trust. I have records of every deposit. He's committed theft and fraud. Holy crap, Marley. And Patricia has been using my credit card for 6 months. She's racked up $30,000 in charges, jewelry, spa treatments, designer clothes, all while mocking me for being poor. Sarah started laughing. This is the best revenge story ever. I called my family's lawyer this morning, I said. Richard Blackwell. He's meeting me tomorrow. The Richard Blackwell? Sarah asked. That's him, I confirmed. And I'm hiring a private investigator to document everything Derek and Patricia have done. What's your endgame? Sarah asked. I want Derek charged with theft and fraud, I said firmly. I want Patricia charged with credit card fraud. I want restraining orders. And I want every penny back, plus damages. When are you going to tell Derek the truth? Sarah asked. At exactly the right moment, I replied, when it'll hurt the most. The next day, I sat in Richard Blackwell's corner office. He reviewed my documents with practiced efficiency. This is straightforward theft, he said. Derek transferred marital funds to his personal account without permission. Patricia committed credit card fraud. We having them cold. How long will this take? I asked. I'll file a police report today, Richard said. We'll pursue criminal charges and a civil lawsuit. In the divorce proceedings, we'll reveal your actual net worth. What kind of consequences are we talking about? I asked. Derek could face 2 to 5 years for theft and fraud, Richard explained. Patricia could face 3 to 7 for credit card fraud. Financially, they'll owe full restitution plus treble damages. Good, I said. There's something else, Richard added. Vanessa's father doesn't own 3 car dealerships. He owns 1, and it's underwater financially. I couldn't help but smile. So he's leaving me for someone who's actually struggling? Karma's funny that way, Richard said. Give me 1 week. Then we'll invite Derek and Patricia to a meeting they'll never forget. 1 week later, Derek got a call from Richard's office, requesting a meeting to discuss the divorce settlement. Derek showed up with his lawyer, Martin Chen. Patricia insisted on coming too. This shouldn't take long, Derek said confidently. Marley has nothing. She's entitled to maybe $10,000, and that's being generous. Richard smiled. Mr. Harrison, I don't think you understand the situation. Harrison? Derek frowned. Her lawyer's name is Blackwell. Indeed it is, Richard said. I'm Richard Blackwell, and before we discuss settlement, let me introduce my client properly. This is Marley Catherine Harrison, daughter of William and Catherine Harrison, heiress to the Harrison Real Estate Group, and sole trustee of a $50 million trust fund. The room went silent. What? Derek's face went white. You didn't know? I asked sweetly. I thought you did your research before marrying me. Patricia stood up. This is ridiculous. Marley worked at a coffee shop. Because I wanted to, I replied. I wanted to see if my husband loved me or my money. Derek's lawyer was frantically typing. Oh my God, it's true. The Harrison family. Now, Richard continued, let's discuss the crimes you've committed. Crimes? Derek stammered. Richard slid a folder across the table. You transferred $45,000 from a joint account, funded entirely by Miss Harrison's trust. That's theft and fraud. He slid another folder to Patricia. And you, Mrs. Harrison, used Miss Harrison's credit card without authorization for 6 months, accumulating $30,000 in fraudulent charges. She gave me that card, Patricia sputtered. For one emergency, I said. You kept it and used it like your personal shopping fund while calling me pathetic. Derek found his voice. Marley, we can talk about this. We can work this out. Can we? I asked. When you walked out last week, what did you say? Don't expect much. You barely contributed anything. I didn't know. You didn't care, I corrected. You only care now because you know what I'm worth. Martin Chen cleared his throat. Perhaps we can negotiate. No negotiation, Richard cut him off. Criminal charges have been filed. Detective Reynolds is outside with warrants for both Mr. and Mrs. Harrison's arrests. Arrests? Patricia shrieked. Richard opened the door. Detective Reynolds, please come in. A woman in a dark suit entered. Derek Harrison and Patricia Harrison, you're under arrest for theft, fraud, and credit card fraud. You have the right to remain. As Detective Reynolds read them their rights, Derek stared at me. Marley, please. I made a mistake. Forget Vanessa. I love you. No, you don't, I said calmly. You never did. You loved what you thought I could be. Patricia was crying. We'll pay you back. Every penny. Just drop the charges. You'll pay me back through the courts, I replied, along with damages and legal fees. Please, Derek begged, as the detective handcuffed him. Marley, I'm sorry. I'll do anything. You had 3 years to do the right thing, I said. You chose to steal from me instead. Now you get to face the consequences. As they were let out, Derek's lawyer looked shaken. Miss Harrison, we'll get his day in court, Richard finished. I suggest you both get excellent criminal defense attorneys. After they left, I exhaled slowly. How do you feel? Richard asked. Lighter, I admitted. For the first time in years, I feel free. 3 months later, I sat in Sarah's living room with a glass of wine. Okay, tell me everything, Sarah demanded. What happened in court? Derek took a plea deal, I said. 3 years in prison for theft and fraud. 3 years? Sarah's eyes widened. That's serious time. The evidence was overwhelming, I explained. My financial records, the transfer history, his emails, it was damning. And Patricia? Sarah asked. She wouldn't take a deal, I said. She went to trial and lost. 5 years in prison for credit card fraud and identity theft. 5 years? Sarah nearly spilled her wine. The judge wasn't sympathetic, I continued, especially when the prosecutor showed her social media posts about me. She'd been posting for months about her gold-digging daughter-in-law. The jury didn't appreciate the irony. What about the money? Sarah asked. Full restitution of $75,000, plus $200,000 in punitive damages, I replied. Derek's already lost his job. They don't keep convicted felons as partners. Sarah raised her glass. To karma being a beautiful thing. To justice, I corrected, clinking my glass against hers. Have either of them tried to contact you? Sarah asked. Derek wrote me a letter from jail, I said, apologizing, begging for another chance. What did you do with it? I sent it to my lawyer unanswered, I replied. There's a restraining order. He violated it, so he got extra time added. Patricia tried too, I continued. She had her sister call me, asking if I'd consider dropping the charges. What did you say? Sarah leaned forward. I said Patricia hasn't been my family since the divorce, and she made her choices when she committed fraud, I replied. Then I blocked her sister's number. What about Vanessa? Sarah asked. When Derek got arrested, she ghosted him immediately, I said, laughing. She was only interested in his money and status. When both disappeared, so did she. So he lost everything, Sarah said. He made his choices, I said. He could have loved me. He could have been honest. Instead, he stole from me and threw away 3 years. My phone buzzed. It was Richard. Final settlement check deposited. $275,000. Congratulations, Marley. I showed Sarah the text. How does it feel? She asked softly. It feels like justice, I said honestly. Not revenge. Justice. I didn't hurt them. They hurt themselves. I just made sure they faced the legal consequences. You could have forgiven them, Sarah pointed out. I could have, I agreed. But forgiving them wouldn't have taught them anything. This way, Derek and Patricia have years to think about what they did. You really loved him, didn't you? Sarah asked gently. I did, I admitted. That's why it hurt so much. But Sarah, I loved myself more. I loved myself enough to walk away and fight back. I'm proud of you, Sarah said. Thank you, I replied, for believing me, for supporting me. I looked at my phone again, thinking about everything that had happened. Sarah, I said quietly, have you ever been married to someone who made you feel worthless? Someone who stole from you while looking down on you? I met her eyes. What would you have done in my position? Would you have fought back legally? Or would you have just walked away? I honestly don't know, Sarah admitted. But I hope I'd have your courage. I hope you never have to find out. But if you do, document everything, get a good lawyer, and remember, you deserve better. Words to live by, Sarah said, raising her glass. To Marley Harrison, who refused to be a victim and fought back the right way. We clinked glasses as the sunset streamed through her windows. Justice, I'd learned, was so much sweeter than revenge. Have you ever had someone underestimate you because they didn't know your true worth? What would you do if your partner stole from you while calling you worthless? Like and subscribe for more stories about people who refused to be victims and fought back the right way.